So today, let's talk about this new moon in Cancer happening on July 9th, 2021. And basically, new moons are times that we can manifest new things or start new intentions and begin on new projects. And in this case, it's happening in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is about creative processes, the development of things, the slow development. It's about personal projects. It's about family. It's also about what else? Intuition, emotions, and finding answers to things or developing an answer over time. And this has to do with the creative process. And so cancers are all about solving things, especially on a personal level or regarding emotional situations and people that they are close to. So with the new moon in this sign, this is an excellent time to start on new projects in the home or new long-term investments, because the sign of Cancer is also about investments. It's also about real estate and the home. And it's about our resources as well. So just like the second house is about possessions and resources, the fourth house or the sign associated with Cancer is 2 + 2 or 2 × 2. It's double resources. So what the resources are in the fourth house is things that we attach to and have an emotional significance to it, rather than just being a material possession by itself. So these are things that we hold on to for long periods of time. And also, Cancer is a cardinal sign, and it's the cardinal water sign. Cardinal is about being persistent and having one focus, one objective. And then water is about creativity, connection, and just the development, in this case, of something creative or something personal, something close to our hearts. So it's a good time to start new long-term investments, new projects in the home, to buy a new home or to start looking for one, if you were interested in that. And with a new moon, the part of fortune always falls on the ascendant, the universal ascendant, because when the sun and the moon are together, the distance between the sun and the moon is 0. And so when you add 0 to the ascendant, this is where the part of fortune falls. And what it indicates being on the ascendant is that right now our fortune and our outcomes are in our own hands. So our actions will affect our results during this time, and it will affect our manifestations. So new moon periods are extremely potent times to act. So one of the best way to manifest during this time is to get started and to initiate something or to take tangible action towards beginning something. So with that being said, Cancer is also about the womb, and the new moon is about conception. So what I'm seeing is that the new moon is semi-sextile to Mars and Venus being conjunct. So this is a time where a lot of bedroom activities will happen, and a lot of children will be conceived during this time. If you wanted to conceive a child, this is a very potent and fertile time, astrologically speaking. And Mars and Venus are the male and female sexuality, and they're conjunct, and they're in the sign of pleasure and fun and passion. So we will be feeling extremely passionate about life in a general sense. Things may feel a lot more exciting and energetic, but also this will be a very romantic time. And that new moon in the sign of family indicates new families, starting new homes, investments, things like that. Now, what we have is we have the new moon, not sextile, trine to Neptune. Neptune retrograde. Neptune retrograde is about the reversal of illusions. It's also it could be the reversal of negative illusions like fear, irrational fears, and deception, especially self-deception. But also we are questioning our assumptions, and it's in the sign of Pisces. This means being less susceptible to media manipulation or forms of illusions. And so that is trying to the new moon in Cancer, which is about conception of something new. So during this time, a lot of things will be unveiled. A lot of illusions will fall apart. A lot of old possibilities and old visions and dreams that we had may become relevant again or may seem possible. And this is making it easy for us to express these new intentions, these things that perhaps we wanted to start in the past that we didn't, in terms of home projects, creative projects, family, etc. That's what the trine is indicating, because trines indicate ease of expression. And with that being said, yeah, that's what the trine with Neptune retrograde is. We have a sextile to Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus is about the changing of the fundamental structure and foundation upon which society lies. It's the changing of resources, the changing of even currencies. And in this case, it's being changed to more futuristic terms, more futuristic forms of sustenance. And it's also the changing of energy sources, and things like that. A lot of disruptions. And since it's sextile to the new moon, this indicates that these changes in values, even on a personal level, is going to give us these ideas that will contribute to our new starts, our new intentions that we set with this new moon, to new projects that people will be beginning in the home. A lot of times we'll have to take our own initiative, though, because once more the part of fortune is on the ascendant. So maybe a lot of people may miss this opportunity to start something new because they won't be riding the current. They won't be riding the energy wave of this transit. But once you know new moons, you can really tap into that peak energy of initiation, of starting something new. But yeah, sextiles are about ideas, intelligence, logic. So the changes in resources, the changes in values, the changes in gas prices, the changes in all kinds of things that we depend on, which is Taurus. These will be sparking new forms of logic, and our logic and also our ideas will influence what it is that we're doing within the home in order to establish security. It will influence our investments. It will influence maybe new things that we are adding to our household. It will influence what we do in terms of gardening, growing our own food and stuff, because that's something people may be doing during this time as well. That's definitely an influence of Taurus and Cancer together, is people that garden or grow their own things. And, this is an aspect also of cooking. like Taurus and Cancer together is a strong cook. So especially people that have like Venus and Cancer, this is a mixture of Taurus and Cancer energy. They're able to make consumables and like things that people can enjoy and stuff. Anyways, that's that sextile between Uranus and the new moon in Cancer. Now, we have other planets, other aspects, but for the most part, what I am going to... So, okay, I do want to go forward and talk about these houses that I have here. But something interesting, an interesting aspect that came to me and that I'm seeing right now is Pluto retrograde and Neptune retrograde being sextile. So again, sextiles represent new form of logic or new ideas. It also represents communication, internal communication or skill regarding communication. And what we're seeing is Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, which is about the reversal of controlling measures, the reversal of power, powerful laws and restrictive laws, invasive laws in governments. And this will be happening worldwide for the most part, or at least that will be the energy. And there will be a pause to like things like lockdowns, or they won't get worse, at the least. For the most part, at the highest expression, all these things may be reversed, at least temporarily, because Pluto is retrograde. So Pluto begins to act more pleasant, diplomatic, and it begins to repay its debts towards the people, because Capricorn is the sign of the public. It's the sign of authority, the government, and the public sector of life. So authorities will be repaying their debts to the public, at least emotionally speaking or spiritually speaking. And the reversal of all these measures that are quote unquote to protect us is actually sparking the reversal of illusions and deception. We're getting new ideas or new forms of logic, like we're thinking differently due to the fact that certain laws and constructs that were invasive and controlling and that were meant to be the benefit of the public, which is the meaning of Capricorn. These things are being reversed, and it's opening new forms of logic. Like we have just a different perception, and we may be getting questions or ideas of why did we even have that in the first place? Stuff like that, or just the fact that things just get reversed, also reverses deceptions, illusions, fears, assumptions that we have, especially ones that have been programmed through media or victimization of ourselves, making us feel like victims of the circumstances in the world, telling us on a daily basis that there's something that's turning us into global victims, and that's going around and that's causing us to have to do certain things that the government tells us. All those kinds of things may start to be reversed if they came from external sources or if they came through forms of media, because Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Pisces is about motion picture. It's about illusions. It's about art. It's about subliminal messages, unconsciousness. So the collective consciousness will be questioning their assumptions during this time, especially getting intelligent questions based on also the fact that Pluto is retrograde. So power structures are retrograde. Power structures are reversing. Anyways, okay, so what I'm seeing is the constellation that will be rising at the time of this new moon, at the exact conjunction, is Taurus. And this is the coordinates for the center of the earth. So 0 degrees north, 0 degrees east. So this is like the global, chart. And the constellation rising is Taurus. And Uranus is conjunct the ascendant. So During this time, people will be experiencing changes to their values, but once again, since the part of fortune is in the first house, this means these changes will be fueled by people's own actions and their own intentions. So due to the fact that people will be creating new forms of security, and new home life measures, new home changes, new projects, new creative endeavors, this will create changes in values and changes in the foundations of society, also changes in our resources. This will fuel it a little bit further. Our actions will be unconventional, innovative, and ingenious, during this time. It's going to be different. Like, we'll be finding creative and logical ways to establish more security in these unstable times. Now, Saturn is square to Uranus, and this is an ongoing aspect. And, a lot of astrologers have been covering this, and the fact that this aspect continues for almost the entirety of this year. And with 2021 being a 5-year, because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5, this is a year of change, a year of new horizons, a year of spontaneity. And this is really an indicator of this aspect right here. And what it's really about is about the changes of structures. Now, notice that Saturn is square to Uranus, right? And the square aspect is associated with Saturn. It's associated with difficulty, challenges, time-consuming things, delays, instability, and a need to be responsible or to achieve something, a drive to achieve something. So squares with Saturn, they represent something that's actually practical and like beneficial, like a useful and necessary challenge in order to create greater outcomes or a greater structure. Now, notice that Saturn is in Aquarius, the sign of change. So Saturn is in the sign of Uranus, and it's square to Uranus. And the square is an aspect associated with Saturn. So to keep things short, or to sum it up, this aspect is, it's not so negative on the overlying sense, on the greater sense. Because what it is that there are changes in structures, changes in our way of governance, and giving more authority to the people. But since the consciousness of the mainstream and the consciousness of most people is low, instead of having authority, instead of stepping into their authority, which is Saturn in Aquarius, the people are having authority imposed on them. So this is like a very, very low vibrational form of Saturn in Aquarius. But the high vibrational form of Saturn in Aquarius would indicate the power or the authority being spread across the people type stuff, And then square to Uranus in Taurus indicates this construction of new values, new stability, new resources. And of course, the changing of society and the structure is causing these instability regarding resources, regarding values, etc. So that square is quite straightforward. But it really, really has to do with the change of reality, changes in society, and stuff like that, changes in governance. And it's all about Uranus. It's all about change. It's all about Aquarius. And it's very constructive. But a lot of times construction can cause instability. If you ever looked at a construction site, first they have to put the frame down. They have to wear their harnesses. If the people that build the stuff, they have to wear harnesses, and it's an unstable and an unsafe place when you're building. And so this is what that square aspect, the difficulty is causing. And of course, a lot of people are feeling consequences of changes. They're feeling lost forms of jobs. They're losing old things that they used to be able to depend on in a general sense, even old relationships that were built on an old perception of reality, that were built on old dreams, stuff like that. And that's what's shaking people up a lot. But if you're innovative, you can tap into this energy and get ahead and use it to your advantage. If you're able to push forward and detach from things that no longer serve you, it can be very useful. But yeah, so I think I basically covered it all. And again, a lot of children will be conceived during this time with this new moon, because I'm looking at this semi-sextile between Mars and Venus and the new moon, which is in the sign of the womb. And new moons are about conception. So this is a very fertile time on an energetic level and on a physical level. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this horoscope. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, consider checking out my Patreon, where I post other astrology videos, presentations, and also I do a free natal chart reading for each of my subscribers that sign up, or a free inquiry. So it can be anything, like it could be about career, it could be about love, synastry, or it could be about, a specific internal conflict that you're experiencing. It can just be about life. And I'll look into your chart and answer using astrology. So if that interests you, definitely consider checking that out. And on Patreon also, I post horoscopes every month using numerology and astrology. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Peace.